Hey, how's it going everybody? Charlie from Board Game Feels here, and today we're going to talk about my favorite games for new players getting into the hobby, or maybe you yourself are getting into the hobby and want to check out some board games and don't really know where to start. Well, this list will have you covered. Most of the games I put on this list are aesthetically pleasing because I think that's important for people wanting to get into games, to see something pleasing on the table, as well as you need to make strategic decisions, so it's maybe a little upgrade from something more typical like Uno or Monopoly. But before we get into the list, I'm gonna please ask that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get updates on when I post new videos. The goal for this channel is to provide highlights and visually see the board game when I'm talking about it, and that takes a lot of time. So if you think that I bring any value or insight, please consider subscribing. Okay, on to the list. First up on the list is King of Tokyo. Now, the best way I can describe King of Tokyo is it's kind of like Yahtzee on crack. Now, you're playing one of these old school monsters. Your rampage could bring you glory in the form of victory points, or you might have to get your claws out and try to eliminate your enemies. But essentially on your turn, you're gonna roll dice and look at the symbols. Now, you can roll the dice up to 3 times, but you can stop at any time as well, literally just like Yahtzee. So let me explain the symbols. The smash symbol lets you do damage. So if there's currently another player in Tokyo, you do damage to them. And if you happen to be in Tokyo, you get to do damage to all players. Now, if you get 3 of a kind on any of the numbers that you roll, those equate to victory points. The energy symbol here gives you these energy cubes and lets you purchase these cards that give you special abilities. And then the last symbol here is the heart symbol, and that lets you heal damage that you've taken. And that's basically it. The first player to get to 20 points wins using those victory points, or if you knock everyone else out to 0 hit points with attacks, you'll win the game. I really like this game. So every time I've taught it, it's never really failed. Everyone's had a good time. I really like that it plays up to 6 because I find when I'm trying to teach new players, it's usually kind of in a party setting, or maybe you're kind of having a double date or something like that. You end up usually with more players, and this one is so easy to pull out, so easy to explain. Like I said, it's like Yahtzee, so usually people have that type of concept, and if not, you're just rolling dice and having a good time. So I highly recommend this one, King of Tokyo. Oh, I think it's right behind me. Yes, it is actually. Okay, next up is Point Salad. Now I know it kind of comes in this big box, but it is just a card game. So if you open it up, which I didn't plan on doing, but here we are. Ah, perfect. So you get all kinds of these cards. So you see like cabbage, you see, what is that? A carrot. But what's cool is the cards are double-sided. So if you look right here on the back of that card, tells you how you get points. Let me explain it a little bit better. Best way I can explain it is it's a fast card drafting game where you try to get the best combination of veggie and point cards. Now the deck is split evenly into 3 rows with 2 additional columns of veggies. Now take notice because the top cards are how you get points and the bottom cards are essentially resources in this game. So on your turn, it's really simple. You can either take 2 veggie cards in the play area here, or you can take 1 point card. Once you've drafted your cards, you'll then refill the market and then it's the next player's turn. Now the game ends when all cards from both point card piles and the veggie market have been completely drafted. And then you count up all the points you've scored based on your point cards, and the player with the most points is the winner. So this is another one I've always had success with. It's really simple to teach, and I find people are much more willing to get into card games, or at least try card games. And what you really find is you just love the combinations in this game. So there's been plenty of times where I just want to go for like tomatoes or lettuce, and then all of a sudden mid-game, I'm seeing one of my friends do something like onions and peppers because he's got a crazy combination. So instead of drafting for me to try to win, I'm drafting trying to stop him from winning. And it's super easy to get into. I think, what does it say on the box? 15 to 30 minutes. And I agree, it's very fast. I've played this many times when we're at a restaurant. It's good to take out. Highly recommend this one, Point Salad. Sagrada is a dice drafting game with extremely colorful dice. Now, players will be placing colored dice that represent pieces of glass, and they need to fit it in their window provided and create certain patterns for points. Now, each turn, the first player draws dice out of this bag and rolls them. Then, each player is going to select a die.
The first die you place has to be on the edge of your window. From then on, you must place your next die adjacent to another die, but don't do what I just did. The adjacent die can't have the same color or be the same number. Also notice the colors and die numbers in each square on your window. You have to match those, so red to red, and I'd need to place a 5 right here. Now, once your window is filled with glass and after a certain number of rounds, it's time to score points. In the middle of the table, there's going to be objectives to where you and everyone else at the table can score points. And you'll also have a private objective to where only you can score points from it. The game lasts 10 rounds and the person with the most points wins.
So Sagrada, man, this is a fantastic game. It's probably one of the most beautiful in my collection, honestly. And every time I play it in a public area or anything, people are always asking, oh my God, what are you playing? What are you playing? And it's really fun because not only is it like pattern building and making decisions, I find one of my favorite mechanics is that dice drafting mechanism that I showed you at the beginning. Just getting to choose your dice. Because again, what ends up happening is it's strategic. It's very easy. I mean, you're just picking up a dice, placing it on your window. But you see your window and you're like, oh, I need a red here. But then, oh, he needs a red over there. Oh, she needs a yellow. Maybe I should grab this yellow and that'll help me, but not help me as much. I mean, it's nice and easy to play. I mean, I think I can explain this game in 10 minutes now. Definitely check this one out, Sagrada. Okay, the penultimate game I want to talk about now is Cubitos. Now, what is Cubitos? Cubitos, small cubes, that's what it means. Cubitos is a push your luck dice game where you're going to take on the role of participants in the annual Cube Cup, and it's a race to determine who the Cubitos champion is. Now, each player has a runner on the racetrack, which are these cute little cube figures, and a support team represented by all these dice. Each turn you roll dice to try to roll movement symbols like right here and other special abilities. And these special abilities are on other dice that you can buy throughout the game and purchase. Now you can roll as much as you want on your turn. And by the way, everyone is doing this at the same time, simultaneously rolling dice. And you can stop whenever you want, but there's a catch. You gotta be careful because if you roll all blank symbols, you bust. Like right here, I just busted, no symbols, and it feels terrible. So it really is push your luck. Do you want to try to get more movement or maybe more money? But be careful because again, you might bust. And what I love about this game is it's not too intimidating. It tells you how much each dice cost, as well as a card right in front of them that tells you exactly what the dice do on each face. And that's it. The first person to reach the finish line wins. What I love about Cubitos also is the replayability. They have a ton of different cards which modify the dice. So when you buy a red dice in one game, it might do like 3 movement. But the next game, you can flip over a card and the red dice will do something completely different. And not only that, I showed you one example of the maps. I think there's up to like 4 to 6 maps in this game. It's really cool and it allows for more expansion. And again, it's really not hard to teach. You're just rolling dice. And it's like, hey, the more you roll faces that have movement symbols or some kind of special abilities, do you want to push your luck and keep going or do you want to stop? And I also love that there's no downtime in this game. So everyone's rolling at the same time. Yeah, there's a time where it might slow down a little bit where everyone has to buy the dice they want to buy. But really, I mean, it's a fast moving game. And every time we play this, everyone has a blast. They're cracking up laughing. I mean, honestly, if you're into video games, something like Mario Kart, this really reminds me of it. So can't recommend this one enough. It's probably my go-to game now on what I teach to new players. So definitely check this one out, Cubitos. It is awesome. And the final game I want to talk about today, and that's Quacks of Quedlinburg. Now, not only do I think this is an amazing game to show to new players, or if you're just starting to get into board gaming and want to play, this is an awesome game. But not only that, this is one of my favorite games, period. Now, this is also similar to Cubitos in the sense that it is a push your luck game, but let me also show you how it works and how different it is. In Quacks of Quedlinburg, you'll be pulling potion ingredients out of a bag and into the cauldron, all in the hopes of going further down this track and not causing your pot to explode. So how does it work? Well, everyone's turn happens at the same time, just like Cubitos. You'll each be pulling out one chip at a time from your bag, and then counting that distance on the chip from the center of your pot. So for instance, I would move 3 away from my last chip here. Now, the further away you go, the more money you get to buy unique chips and the more points you get. Now, you decide for yourself though when you want to stop. And each one of these potion chips does something special and different. Again, think like Mario Kart. So some chips, when you pull them out, will let you pull out multiple chips. Some chips will move farther than others. There's really a ton of variability and a ton of special effects on these chips. But the catch is, if the sum of all your white chips drawn, which are called cherry bombs, if they exceed a total of 7, your pot explodes. And that's not good because you'll have to choose between taking points or buying new chips for that round. Now there's a total of 9 rounds in this game, and after 9 rounds, the person with the most points wins. Now, if you notice too, you might look up this game online and see that, oh, your components don't look like my components. Well, I love this game so much that I bought an upgrade pack, which you can get at the Board Game Geek store. I'll put a link in the comments. What normally comes in the box is these cardboard chips. And you saw mine were kind of like plastic. They're really kind of more textured and tactile, and they feel amazing when you pull them out of the bag. It's just kind of a nice little upgrade and feel. And then I also bought from the Board Game Geek store the boxes that allow you to store it so it doesn't make storing a hassle, because I love this game so much. I have all the expansions and it literally barely fits in the box. I mean, I don't know if you can see this. Oh God. But I mean, it's literally filled to the brim. If you're reading the rules, it might take you 45 minutes to learn, but if you're teaching it, you can almost play a sample round and they will get it instantly. I really, truly can't recommend this game enough. It is super awesome. You have to check this one out. If you don't listen to anything I say for the whole video, listen to me on this one. Quacksalquidlinburg is a super win. Okay, that about wraps it up for me. Those are the games that I show to new players, or if you're just getting into board games, those are the games I particularly recommend. So let me ask you, did I miss ones? I know I missed ones because I made a list of like 10 and I had to narrow it down, but curious to see what other people show to new players, or maybe what got you into the hobby. So make sure to leave a comment down below for that. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you got any value out of this content. My goal is to continue to make lists because I think it helps inform people what my tastes are. And if you enjoy those games later on, you'll see that our tastes might align. And then it's a good way for everyone to get games that they actually like and want to play. So again, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.